Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski. This is not normally how I start my stream recaps, but I thought this was interesting enough to kind of get a clip for and show you guys immediately. First things first. There is this professional F1 esports player, Jarno Opmeer. I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to forgive my ignorance. I know very little about the racing world, but the guy's very talented. He's very, very good at what he does. He's been doing it since the age of 4. There's a lot of really cool stuff. I'd love to learn more about him. I don't know his full history, but he's playing PokeMMO on Twitch right now. He's been playing this game for 5 hours to 200 viewers or so, but this guy has 310,000 followers on Twitch. This is one of the larger influences we'll see play PokeMMO within the year, maybe within a few years. It's always big news, as silly as it seems, when a big figure calls out PokeMMO, because it's hard for this game to get the proper marketing it needs. PokeMMO is constantly called the best Pokemon game you've never heard of. So when someone plays it and other people hear about it, it's a big deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and just listen in and probably go show him some support really quick. I think it's amazing that he's doing this. Just so much love over to him. Let's go gift him 5 subs really quick and just say thanks for playing the game. You know, I'm not paid by PokeMMO in any means. I'm not, you know, partnered with them in any way. Thanks for checking out PokeMMO.
Appreciate it, man.
Been playing the game for 12 years. I had to think about it. You know, I know of a handful of people in my community who love racing games and love F1 and love simulators. I know nothing about cars. You gotta excuse my ignorance. I know absolutely nothing about cars. It's just not something I'm skilled at or ever learned about. But this guy does, and he's taken the time to learn about something else and play PokeMMO, which I think is a beautiful thing. So shout out to him. Really cool to see this. Always cool to see more attention brought to this beautiful game and natural marketing take place like this. Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski. Welcome back to another PokeMMO stream recap. I am back from vacation, fellas. It's been a while. I was gone for 3 days, but it felt like I was gone for months in the PokeMMO community, dude. So much happened while I was gone. I'm gonna first things first go ahead and collect some Pokeyen. Thank you for the sub, Daniel Live. What's up? What's up? We have a lot of stuff that's sold over in the GTL, which is awesome to see. 420k. We're gonna 11 mil up to let's see. Collect 12.1. That's like 1.1 mil collected. I'm gonna head over. I don't know if the salt water got to my brain from the ocean or what's going on. I'm gonna head up to the I'm gonna go to the Safari Zone. We're gonna be shunting for shiny Apom. Fun fact, you can actually see my new Apom plush in the background. We cleaned out a few arcades, fellas. That was most of my vacation. I'm gonna be honest, most of the time was spent in the arcade. Okay, the ocean water was freezing. We actually ended up looking it up. The ocean water, it was 51 degrees, and I was the only person on the entire beach that we saw for 3 days to even get in the water. I got in the water to about waist deep level. I literally did not see a single other human being in the water. I was the only person who was like, fuck it, it's my vacation, I don't care how cold it is, I'm gonna get in for a little bit. Okay, we almost got hypothermia, but that's okay. You know, we live another day. We have our fun. But I'm going to be shutting Apom here in the Safari Zone. This is the best way to go for it. The best that I know of, my best location. It's a really tough shunt. It sucks because there's still a really good chance that it runs, that it flees. But even if it flees, someone's here is just casually shunting. There we go. Even if it flees, it's still the best way. If like two Apoms fleet, we see an Apom flexor back here, in the process to one Apom, it's still the best way to go about it. So where did you go on? We'll do a lot of, this will be a stream recap that includes a fair bit of IRL ranting or just yapping and talk storytelling. So if you don't like that, it's not your cup of tea, I understand. You know, feel free to skip the parts that you want to. Timestamps will be in the description. I went to Rehoboth Beach and I loved it. It was a great, pretty chill, quiet beach. A lot of boomers. Delaware is a pretty chill state. It's a lot of just old people just retiring and relaxing and hanging out. I tried a bunch of foods. We did like thrashers, like fries, which are cooked in, it's kind of like Five Guy fries. They're really good, but they're the beach fries. I tried like Mexican corn at like a corn place. That was awesome. We tried this amazing ice cream place called the Ice Cream Store, and it was we got booger ice cream and something called crack ice cream, and it's a whole, there's just so many crazy things over in Rehoboth Beach. A lot of crazy stores, little schmeemers. We spent a lot of time at arcades. There's this place called Zelkies, which I will be doing a little bit of talking about, a little bit of content, like talking about Zelkies, the arcade, how the journey to get these 3 giant plushes. These plushes are big. You can actually see, like, compared to that TV. I'll go grab one and bring it up close at one point, but these are 3 giant plushies that cost us a lot of tickets, a lot of points. We have some new small plushies that my wife won from Claw Machines because she's a gamer too. Skiploom, Numel, looking really nice. Whoa, they did look nice. Looking really nice and not too shabby there in the back. There was a lot of fun. The beach was a fantastic time. There's a lot to yap about there, and we'll get to it, but let's go ahead and focus up on our... We gotta pop lures, maybe? I actually think you don't pop lures. Safari Zone is one of those weird spots where sometimes it's worth to pop lures in certain locations, and sometimes it's not, which is always interesting. It depends. I think this might be one where it's not worth. I think the spawn here is like Raichu, which is not a really rare shiny, and it's very difficult to catch. Yeah, I think this is Raichu. This is a no lure location. Good point. I was about to say, wow, I'm so glad I still have dinner status. My shit expires in 2 hours, fellas. Okay, we're gonna have to figure out. Maybe we'll play some alt accounts. I finished my Unova storyline guide. I didn't do timestamps for that and thumbnails, and that will come out probably next weekend or so. We'll see. But yeah, donor status is on the way out. That'll be interesting. I try to, when my donor status wears out, to go do things on alt accounts where I, can take a break and not immediately pop and get right back into shunting. It's a good time, a good excuse to go put other things. Try like the only shinies. Maybe try out the Iron Man account. There's so many things on my dock. I'm gonna do the Heatran raid. There's a lot to do, and we can only take it step by step, day by day. Today is yapping, decompressing, and shunting Apom for the meme. Great question. I'm about to battle Zekrom in the Unova storyline. How many Pokeballs do I need for this? I strongly recommend like timer balls. Maybe like 10 to 20 timer balls, and then just like stall a little bit. Or you could just do like you throw the 3 Ultra Balls. I actually just did that fight because I finished my Unova guide. A few Ultra Balls are nice. If you can put it to sleep, maybe Dream Balls, but probably like Ultra Balls into timer balls. Quick Balls are the play. You think so? Quick Ball, yup. I didn't think about that during my run, but if Quick Balls are the play, what's the I caught it with 1 Quick Ball. That's fucking do Master Ball? Absolutely. I know you're memeing. Absolutely do not Master Ball Zekrom. It's a total waste. Please, because he literally just uncatches. He goes to hang out in your bedroom after you beat the storyline. Probably the Pokeball, Giga Chad. Quick Ball turn 1 might be a good... I mean, that might be worth it. Now, keep in mind, I think it's the last Pokemon in your party gets bumped to the PC to fill in for Zekrom. So keep that in mind. The final Pokemon in your party gets sent to the PC. So make sure before you start the Zekrom fight to make that fucking, make that final Pokemon the one you don't mind losing, right? Okay, PokeMMO is dying right now, so it's the perfect time to rant about, tell a beautiful story about coin machines. Me and my wife fell in love with coin pushers, okay? Most of what our time spent on the beach, it was cold, so we spent a lot of time in the arcade. That was our plan. We went to Rehoboth Beach. There's a place called Zelkies. There's 3 different Zelkies. I need to set up the stage of context, okay? There's 3 different Zelkies, 3 different arcades. We fall in love with, I love claw machines. The claw machines there are kind of weak, / like hit or miss, I'll be honest. Some of them are really bad. Some are like reasonable. Claw machines, you got to test them out, okay? Yeah, the game's dying. We'll get back to it in a sec, okay? There's 3 Zelkies. There's a South Boardwalk, North Boardwalk, and then 1 standalone and like an outlet, okay? What happens is we start at the South Boardwalk and we play coin pusher machines. There's these 2 coin pusher machines at each location. There's the Wizard of Oz coin pusher and the Willy Wonka. It's very important, okay? Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory and Wizard of Oz themed. And the main thing from these coin pushers are these cards. It's like collecting, I actually have some somewhere. It's like collecting little trading cards, okay? And if you collect all if you collect all 9 Willy Wonka characters plus a golden ticket, each of those sets is a rare thing. There's like 7 Wizard of Oz characters and like 9 Willy Wonka, and then Willy Wonka also is like a golden ticket. And if you turn in the full set of all characters of Willy Wonka plus the golden ticket, which is rare, you have to spend enough coins to like roll a wheel, and then if on the wheel you have a chance of depositing a golden ticket, okay? If you deposit that, you get 5,000 tickets, which is not that much, but you also gradually gain tickets. One of these prizes costs 32,000 tickets. One of these big plushies, which I have 3 of. We ended up with 3 of, which is crazy. I'll bring the one that I'm actively shunting up here for the story time. Okay, so God, is he distracting. So we have these 2 coin pushers we're working on. We're collecting the cards. We have like this bag, this like little, we're collecting all the cards and doing stuff. And eventually we realized the hardest part of the Willy Wonka machine, easily the golden ticket. And the hardest part of the Wizard of Oz one is the Toto card. And if we like learned the strats, okay? We learned that it's like typical, it's like the Magic the Gathering, like old Chaos Orb full art or the Black Lotus. Like 8 out of 9 of the cards are pretty common, but that 9th card is really rare. That's how they keep you buying. That's we figured that out very early, okay? Thank you for the sub, dude. Yeah, my vacation was perfect. The first day was very stressful for tax reasons. We talked about that on stream. That's too negative for the stream recap. We're gonna avoid that. But amazing vacation, okay? Apparently shunting packet loss right now. We're gonna let Pokemon figure out while we tell the story. There's these 2 coin pusher machines, and we sit there for like hours a day. It's so fun. It's just bonding time with my wife, you know. Great double. You have 2 a friend or like a partner or a wife or whatever, right? It's coin pushers are fun. You just sit next to each other, you park your butt in a chair, and you just play. It's so fun. It's cute. It's a little passive progress, similar to shiny hunting. You collect. You like combine your cards. It's like both of you are like, okay, you know, do you have the Glenda? Do you have like the fucking you know, the Toto card, the Tin Man? Like, what do we need to combine our sets for like Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka, you know, whatever, right? It's really fucking cute and fun. Okay, it's really cute and fun. And me and my wife complete like you know, we get so close to completing 1 billion sets. The toughest thing is the golden ticket. Now we end up eventually completing the golden ticket. We end up eventually getting a golden ticket, and that was an amazing feeling. You get 5,000 tickets for completing a golden ticket for the whole set. Pretty good, but you know, this is 32,000. You know, a lot more, right? Now the kicker is the Wizard of Oz set. If you complete the Wizard of Oz set, which is only 7 cards, you get 25,000 tickets, which is a lot of tickets, okay? A Nintendo Switch, you could get a Nintendo Switch there for I think 400,000 tickets to give you an idea of the values, I guess, okay? So if we get a Wizard of Oz one, it's 25K, but we need a Toto, okay? And we're sitting there just playing, having fun. There's no Totos on any of the, there's like 16 Wizard of Oz machines, or like 8 or so, maybe 8 or so, in the first South Boardwalk Zelkies. And we look around, we don't see Toto, you know, we're finishing up our round for fun. But we're gonna like, our goal is to check every Zelkies and see if any of them have a Toto, okay? That's our goal right now. And so we're finishing up our round, and this older couple comes in licking some soft serve ice cream, and they do their rounds. They like start walking around the coin pushing machines, and it's pretty obvious they're part of the coin pushing community. And I was like, hey, like, what's up? You know, how are you guys doing tonight? And they were like, you know, doing good. Have you guys seen Toto? And we looked at each other, we're like, oh shit, these guys fucking know the strat. Like a fucking 50-year-old couple that were like, holy shit, they know the strat. And we're like, oh my God, like, we're looking for Toto too. Like, we haven't seen it. Like, that's the rare one. And he's like, yeah, dude, this old couple was like, yeah, we just like come in, we walk around the machines, do our rounds, and then just leave if there's no Toto. This fucking couple, I don't know if they live there or like, it was Giga Chat, okay? They're OG coin pushers, okay? And yeah, so what happens is we spend the night there. We not spend the night after. We finish up arcade. We go home. I think we might. No, we go home. The other thing was the next morning. Okay, the next morning we go back to the boardwalk 10 a.m. to check the first Zelkies, the north board or the south north. I forget which one. One of the there's 2 boardwalk Zelkies. One of the boardwalk Zelkies, and then there might here's not a lot. Yeah. Then we go check the standalone Zelkies at like an outlet or whatever. No Toto. We've checked Zelkies 3 different times now. No Toto. There's 1 Zelkies left. We're only gonna be here for 3 days, keep in mind. This is our 2nd day here. We've probably spent hundreds of dollars, over 200 I think at this point, and 80, and it was for fun. It was it's not, oh, what a good value for these plushies. Like, it's like it was for fun. I had a lot of fun with my wife, okay? Don't judge me. We love arcades, okay? And then we probably spent like 8 hours. We probably spent 8 hours in the arcade within the last 2 days, and like a couple $100, whatever, right? And we go to we find out there's the 3rd Zelkies we didn't know about previously, and it was open. How is this log out still? Okay, whatever. And we go sweep through the machines, and I sweep through, and I'm like, man, like, I don't see Toto. And my wife's like, oh my God, I found him. And my wife, I missed him. My wife spotted Toto in the thing, and we're like, oh my god, we're like, oh my god, we finished the golden ticket set. We're actually gonna beat the Wizard of Oz game, which it seems like people are like fucking living their lives. Or we're like, holy shit, we're only here for 3 days. We found it on the second day. I can't believe we're gonna complete it. We're gonna beat the game, bro. We won like 5 different claw machines. We beat the Willy Wonka coin pusher. We're gonna beat the Wizard of Oz one, dude. Holy shit. We plop our butts down. We're so excited. We're like stressed out. Like hopefully they don't. I don't know. We're like scared. We sit down. We play. We eventually get the Toto after a while. And this is how I knew the Toto was no joke. Okay, the Toto. I'm gonna relog. The moment I knew the Toto was like a legit, like serious business thing. Okay, now my shit's fucked. Whatever. I'm gonna finish the conversation like this. When we turned in the set of cards, okay, the cashier threw all the other cards in like some big bin. When he got to Toto, he set it aside and said, I need to go talk to my manager. Pulls the manager over, and the manager like takes the card. Magnifying glass, not really. Yep, it's good. Puts it aside, like fucking opens up the cash register, puts the Toto card in, locks it. And we're like, holy shit. We're like, how fucking rare is this little dog card, bro? We're like losing our minds, like, oh shit, like not only, dude, like we knew it was rare, but it was like they only had like one card. They just pass around to like all the locations, and they like barely put it out, and like it was crazy. It was crazy. So they like lock up the Toto card that give us our 25k points. Yeah, I feel like there's only one of them for all 3 arcades. I remember because like I like Googled about the Toto card, like on the drive to the arcade on that morning. And I remember I saw a Reddit post of someone who owned an arcade, and he was like, yeah, dude, I've been trying. He was like, I don't even have a Toto card at my store. People can't even play it, right? Or people can't even play it. He was like, this guy who owns an arcade was like, I've been trying to talk to corporate of the Wizard of Oz machine to get them to send me a Toto card, and they keep denying me. How deep is the lore of this fucking coin pushing monopoly? Like it was a lot of deep lore. Okay, we're discovering all this shit. There's the coin pushing community, big Lepa type drama, but we did it, man. We completed it. We beat we got the Toto. We got 25k points. We beat the coin pusher, and we felt so fucking accomplished. I know it may seem silly, but it was a mutual like cooperative journey that me and my wife did. It was so fun. We adored it. It was amazing, man. I was like literally so much fun. It was so much fucking fun. I loved it. I adored it. It was one of the best time I've ever spent with my wife. It was so fun. Cannot recommend going to Zelky's enough at the Rehoboth Beach. Just be prepared to drop some money, and like, you know, they have great prizes, but we walked away. We cleaned up, okay? We got the Apom. We got the Whooper. And we got the Grookey. Okay? There you go, man. There you go. Should have kept the card. It might have been worth more. They sell on eBay for like 14, 15 bucks, I was checking, which is hilarious to me. But that's my coin pusher arc story. It was so much fun. Crazy time. What a journey it was, man. Okay, the servers, I don't know what happened. PokeMMO literally crashed to an extent. I haven't been able to load up the game for like 20 minutes. All I want to do is play PokeMMO today, man. We're back from vacation. It's pretty rare this happens, but I have seen this before. Where like someone said it's like about packet loss. I don't know the technological. I don't know, man. But something happened where like PokeMMO crashes and like my client literally just can't load up for like 20 minutes at a time sometimes. It's very rare, and I think it's a server side thing. I don't think it's a problem on my end, but we're cooked. We got our food take of the day, chat, and it's from vacation. We ate a lot of amazing stuff on vacation. Dogfish Brewery had amazing pizza and a really beautiful beer-centric cocktail, which is like a sweet, like fruity beer. It was called a Brewberry Shandy. But the best thing I had, okay? Shout out. Not sponsored. Not that I ever would be. Fisher's Popcorn, dude. I've wanted to try this for so long. This is caramel popcorn with Old Bay sprinkled on top. Listen, hear me out. I've seen this in my local stores in Virginia many times. I got a fresh bucket from like their like standee stop at the beach thing. If you see something that sounds as insane as caramel popcorn with Old Bay on top, and it sells and it doesn't like leave the store, you know it's either really fucking good or atrocious. And I can confirm it's really fucking good. It makes no sense. It's like, how would a spicy seafood seasoning work on a sweet caramelized toffee encrusted popcorn? This is the best thing I ate all vacation. It's fucking amazing. It is, I genuinely think, life-changing, which sounds so dramatic. Best popcorn I've ever eaten. So unique. You will not find anything like it. I loved it to death. I guess the closest thing would be like, it's not flavor-wise comparable at all, but flavor profile-wise, it's probably the most comparable to like a mango nada, like a tahini, like fruity drink. If I'm saying that, tahini. I don't really like tahini, hilariously, but this is, it's amazing. It's amazing. Try it out. If you have it in your store or ever at Rehoboth Beach, it was my favorite thing. It's so worth it. All right, fellas, it's time for another, thanks for the subs, where's the Twitch Prime? Another non-PokeMMO stream recap segment. I know, guys, it's off season, so honestly, there is a lot going on, but also not a lot to talk about, if that makes sense. We're really just waiting for the summer update, but there's still fun to be had, and there's still goals to achieve, which is what I'm working on. But we can do movie take Trouski, okay? I did watch 2 movies, logged them in over on my Letterboxd. It's just a fun way to track what movies you've seen. I really enjoy Letterboxd. Some people get really pretentious about it. I just like watching movies. I just enjoy movies. Movies are fun. I don't really know a whole lot about it. I just have fun, feel feelings, enjoy movies, right? Watched 2 movies recently. Wonka, the Willy Wonka, prequel with Chalamet, Timothy Chalamet, and I can say I haven't really seen, I watched the first Dune and that was like fine. I haven't really seen any movie where like Timothy Chalamet, he's like very popular. I don't really get it, but Wonka, I was like, wow, this is like kind of the perfect fucking role for him, and I loved Wonka. Wonka was a movie that got ripped on when the trailer came out. Everybody was ripping on it. Did we need this? This is nostalgia bait, all these things. Which I understand the skepticism because all like you look at like Snow White just came out. That was a nostalgia bait. It bombed. You know, I get it, right? I thought Wonka was amazing. I don't like musicals, and I thought they made the musicals interesting. There's a little dog that barks to get involved, like a scrub song. There's like a little, tidbit non-spoiler. I thought Wonka was fun. I thought it was like impassioned was the best way to describe it. Every actor, every person working on that movie, the facial expressions they had, I loved it. Yeah, Wonka was amazing. I hate musicals. That's how I feel, dude. I thought Wonka was so fun. I thought it was amazing. Absolutely. I thought Wonka was beautiful. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's a perfect example of like cynicism and like the internet like hating on something based on the trailer, and then it coming out and it's actually really fucking good. People were just like a little too hate fueled about it, right? Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I don't remember hearing much about this when it came out. This movie was also shockingly fun. Now, I think Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves might be a perfect fun action little adventure movie. There's zero nuance. There's no nuance, no depth. No, but Chris Pine is kind of grown. He's like kind of fun. He has a face that you want to hate, but he's actually like just seems like a nice guy. Just seems to be in like nerdy movies like Star Trek 2009 and like fucking Thor Ragnarok, I think, or was that so? He seems to be in like I'm not Carl Urban. He seems to be in like a lot of. I was looking at his filmography recently as well. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, really fun, cute little adventure movie. If you want to just have fun, you like D&D. I really enjoyed it. It doesn't try too hard. It knows what it is and it hits. I think Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves hits the highest score a movie like it can, which is 4 out of 5. It has no depth or nuance. I don't think I can get better than that or deeper than that, but like higher than that score. But I give it a beautiful 4 out of 5 or 8 out of 10. Wonka's 4.5 or 9 out of 10. So that's a little Patrouski movie take Rousty for the day. This is a great question, and it's one I get a fair bit. Do you think it would be worth to XP train at Battle Frontier with Discharge Zapdos for a chance at Elemental Orbs versus Mount Silver, especially when XP training for profit? No, I really don't think so. The reason why, it's a great question. So for those who don't know, if you're XP trading at Mount Silver, you have to use Rampardos or Haxorus because they have Mold Breakers, so you can like properly kill both the Donphan and the Dodrios, right? Because Donphan has like Sturdy to break through the Surf, right? So you have to use that. So you can't effectively use Zapdos. You'd be running from too many hordes. It would cost you too much time. It wouldn't be worth it at that point, right? But you could XP train at Battle Frontier, Tentacruels, use Discharge Zapdos, and if you use a Pokemon like a legendary bird like Zapdos, you have a chance to get an Elemental Orb. And Elemental Orbs are worth like 20k a piece, I think, 30k a piece. The problem is, this has been tested a bunch. You only get about 1 orb every hour and a half. So it's like an extra, if you split the, like, it's like an extra 18k an hour, 15k. And you lose so much of the XP per hour, right? So you're XP training way less efficiently, and you're only gaining 1 elemental orb every hour and a half on average. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's worth at all. I think just sticking to the highest XP per hour at Mount Silver with Donphans is way better. I get that question a lot. It's a really good question, but the chance is just too low on the elemental orb. So they are worth 25k a piece, which is a healthy amount. It's a good question. Another quick question. Do you think EV training with an XP re-amplifier for story mons would be worth if you gave each mon a Macho Brace? So, okay. Are Macho Braces the one that stops XP gain, correct? Or is it promotes? No. This is the one that doubles EV. Do you think EV training with an XP re-amplifier for storyline mons? I don't know if I understand the question. Do you mean like to sell for profit or for your own storylines? Because my main concern is like, I don't think someone who's like preparing for a storyline run is gonna have like multiple Macho Braces and an XP re-amplifier. I think the XP re-amplifier has gotten a few buffs over the years, and it actually is like a really good end game item. I don't recommend getting the re-amplifier until end game to sell for profit. Okay, great question. No, yeah, when it comes to sell for profit, that's an end game. I get what you're saying. So let me reread this with that in mind. Is it worth EV training with XP to use the Macho Brace? The Macho Brace would just double EVs. So if you had, can you buy Macho Braces? I know for a while they were like, I don't know if they were untradeable or what the meme was. That might be a good strat. That might be a good idea. I kind of forget about the Macho Brace, to be honest. It's not used very often because they have like the training link or whatever, but it actually might be a really good strat. What you would do is, can you actually, no. Didn't they? No. I'm remembering. Doesn't this not work? I can actually go test it after this Safari run. Remind me, I'll test it. I remember because when the training link was it something released? I don't know if you can actually use Macho Braces with the re-amplifier. I think they nerfed it. I think at some point it was either that or the training links. I forget. It doesn't? Yeah. Let's go test it after the Safari run. This is a great question that we can actually go test the mechanics of in game. This has been nerfed? Yeah. Yes, I think on release, you could use the re-amplifier in combination with the 5 Macho Braces, but it was too powerful because you could just, that way you could like double EV train on every Pokemon, right? And it was too good. I think that ended up getting nerfed. I'm going to go test though after this, because I'm curious now. Someone said, any advice on getting better at pricing Pokemon? Great question. There's 3 things I can think of off the top of my head. Price checking Pokemon and PokeMMO is one of the highest skill ceiling things in the entire game. You can extract maximum value out of something. You can quick sell it. There's so many ways to think about it. There's so many things to check on a Pokemon in certain markets, right? There's 3 things that come to mind. Number 1, really boring answer, practice. You got to practice a shit ton. You have to make mistakes. I always say that like 9% of things that I list nowadays, I make a mistake on. And I've been playing this game for 9,000 hours, right? You're always going to make mistakes. You can't avoid mistakes. It's going to happen. It's very complicated. Sometimes you forget a specific hidden ability or a particle or like something was super special on a Pokemon during a certain time period. You forget things. It happens, right? You're always fighting the battle of price checking something as accurately as possible without overpricing it, but also doing it quickly. So you can like price the next thing and move on with your gameplay, right? Number 1, practice. Number 2, watch videos and see what other people do to price check. Like, let's say you want to farm Staryu for profit. Go watch someone whether it's me or anybody else, like list Starus or list Pokemon and see what they check for. And then number 3, understand the most important one, I think. Understand why something is why someone is buying something, right? Why does someone need a 31 speed Garchomp? Why is it so important, right? And it's usually because, number 1, Garchomp's one of the most used Pokemon in the game, so being able to outspeed other Garchomps is super important. But if your Garchomp is like 25 speed IV, even if it's Jolly 25 speed and EV trained or whatever, it's 102 base stat speed. That's a very important speed tier. There's a lot of Pokemon that have 100 base stat speed, or like 101 or whatever, right? If you're like a 25 IV Garchomp, that all of a sudden might cause you to get outsped by like a Hydreigon or something else that's like normally a little bit slower, right? And now all of a sudden your Garchomp goes from like a winning matchup to a losing one versus Hydreigon, which is a really, really big deal. So understanding why someone's buying something. Why do people like Shelders, right? It's because Cloyster is really good for trainer reruns. The more time you spend playing Pokemon, the more you learn about it, the more you learn what Pokemon is used for what activities, right? Smeargle's good for Ditto farming. Vaporeons were good at a point for Ditto farming, not really anymore, but like understanding weird little niches like that. There's so many things. There's so many uses and so many factors. If I ask the average player, what's the best use of Hitmonlee right now in PokeMMO? I don't know what the average answer would be. But in my opinion, the best answer is probably Raids. Hitmonlee was an all-star fighting type DPS Pokemon at Raids. Obviously, Raids aren't active right now, but that's probably his best use. He's not really good in PVM or PvP for the most part, or other PVM activities, right? So understanding why Pokemon are used in each market and what they're good at is really important, and that just takes time, practice, and playing the game. Great question. Yeah, people in chat are asking about how I'm skipping the, Pokeball animation. It's just because I'm in the Safari Zone. It's really easy to, I think this is literally a question I asked when I came back to the game in 2021. It's really easy to forget. I'm in the Safari Zone, so there's no, like, throwing out Pokeball animation. It's a pretty niche, like, shiny hunting piece of knowledge to know that single encounter shunting in the Safari Zone is actually faster than single encounter shunting outside of the Safari Zone. That's why it's sometimes done for, like, Shiny Wars, which is insane because obviously it's, like, high risk, high reward. You get like 20 to 40 extra encounters per hour, maybe. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Yeah, it's like notably faster. Like skipping that Pokeball animation of having to throw someone out is noticeably faster. So it's a good thing to know, to factor in when considering Safari shunting. Did you see the new strings? I heard about them. I think they seem really cool and fast. I don't know the devs' thoughts on them. I personally don't use custom strings anymore. And you should probably, I think the average player probably maybe not average, but like, I think players, if you want to still use strings, go for it. You still should use strings. If you want to be like most efficient, you really care about that. I personally stopped using strings out of respect for the devs, but it's kind of tippy. You don't have to do that, right? It's kind of above and beyond from the players. That shouldn't be expected, and I would never expect that of others. I'm doing it because I personally believe the devs want to nerf strings out of the game. They don't want them to be a thing. They don't want players to be able to download a third-party thing to make their game faster. That's kind of insane. Like in any MMO or any other game, that would so obviously be considered cheating. But there's a long, rich lore and history to strings that I've talked about many times. Strings were initially allowed because, if you don't know, strings or custom strings are editing the like text boxes of in-game code. And what people do, they remove the text box like when breeding or when doing encounters to make certain things faster, right? And that's insane. The fact that you can make your game faster in an MMO is crazy, right? No. You don't hear what I say and feel like you should stop using strings. You should absolutely use strings. There's nothing wrong with it. Strings are very much allowed. You will not get banned for it. There's nothing wrong with it. The devs are trying to nerf them and get rid of them. But like, in my opinion, I don't even know for sure. It's in my opinion, right? So please don't think that as a absolute fact, right? I stopped using strings because, once again, they made an update where they nerfed strings a ton, and they made an update where they buffed a lot of the things that they nerfed surrounding strings. There's a whole lot of like, it's hard to explain to a new player. There is so much history behind it. Strings were initially allowed because prior to strings, people were switching their language to things like Mandarin or Asian character languages because they have shorter, the characters they use, I believe, I apologize for my ignorance, but I believe they like can incorporate more sounds. So there'd be like less characters per message, right? So like hey, how are you doing would be like a long sentence, but like that same thing in Mandarin might be, or kanji, or, you know, apology for the written, might be much faster. So it was just, people were literally playing in different languages just to play efficiently, which is not fair that, you know, different languages would have that advantage. That, you know, that makes sense. So they allowed custom strings. And the problem was eventually people got so good at custom strings and like editing the codes and stuff like that, they became faster than the other languages and faster than anything. And it became kind of like a weird, unfair advantage. But also the pacing it created was actually better than the original gameplay, which is why the devs obviously agreed and they buffed egging and they buffed fossil popping in response to that. I'm not explaining it well or in depth. There's a huge deep dive into strings, and there's a lot of videos covering them of mine, but I don't use strings anymore out of respect, because I think they want to get rid of them, which I predicted like 2 years ago. I said, you know what, I think one day they're going to standardize strings. I think there's either going to be a set of strings that is officially downloadable off the official website, or they're going to like nerf strings and adjust the balancing of everything else, and they went the latter option. So I thought strings would have, or like custom strings standardization would happen at one point, and it eventually kind of did, and they're still working on it. But once again, feel free to use strings. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel, you know, please do. You're just losing out on an advantage if you don't. And I'm acknowledging that I lose out on an advantage out of just like getting used to it, I guess. I don't know. I just that's how I feel about it. But there's a deep lore to it. A lot of history, and custom strings are a really interesting part of PokeMMO. How do you do eggs that fast? When I open the breeding screen, it doesn't open over the PC box. It opens it next to it. It makes me do eggs slower. That's a great question. I think that comes down to your window size, your display resolution. Because my display resolution is like lower, my like breeding, my PC, when it pops up directly over the breeding, and it is pretty fast to breed versus, I don't know which is faster, to be honest. I have no idea. But where the menu pops up will change depending on how large your window is. The great question. I play on 1280 by 720 because in my opinion I think as a content creator it looks way better. I think in my opinion, this is one of the number one tips I would give to an aspiring Pokemon content creator. I think if you play on max resolution, and maybe some people disagree with this, I think this looks bad. I think to play Pokemon like this as a content creator, you're too zoomed out. Yes, you see more information, but I think you're too zoomed out. It's too like far from the action, all the players and stuff, and it's just harder to see. I don't like this as a content creator. I think, can't read the names. I think it's the same with, I think RuneScape content creation taught me this. RuneScape content creators do the same exact thing, where you actually play on a much smaller window because it looks better, right? So sacrificing that is, I mean, I'm just used to that as well, so I don't mind it. But I would strongly recommend that to any aspiring creators. All right, I think it's time as well, fellas. I got 385 steps left. I'm probably just gonna run them out. I'm gonna change locations. Someone asked me earlier, did you put the Frillish Shunt on hold or whatever? Dude, I just love changing locations, changing up spots. I think shunting is such an emotional game, and it's all about like having fun and not giving up. And if changing spots for you, I think the more you shunt, the more most people realize like just going where I want to, going where I feel like I want to shunt the most is going to help me shunt the best, and that's the most important. So I feel like taking a break from the Safari Zone, heading over to Frillish, and we're going to see how it goes. You know what? It's been too long, chat. Fuck it. We're bringing back the prize box. I am thinking of a number in my head, okay? Between 1 and 100. The first person to guess it in chat gets a prize box. Oh my god, Jimmy... You got it, Jimmy Run. You got it third guess. That's actually crazy. That's actually, to be fair, that's actually, I was thinking of 47. That was insane. Jimmy Run got it on his first guess. Didn't you win before? Okay, Jimmy Run, come to, if you don't mind, come to, that was insane. Come to the Hoenn Safari Zone. That was insane. Yeah, 47 was the number. I just randomly... I'm going to do a random.org roll, and we're going to see what you get. Congrats, dude. Okay, Jimmy Run is here in game. We're going to generate your prize. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Number 4. Wow, what a funny one. Dude, this is... Okay, it's not one of the more powerful Pokemon in the box. I'm going to be super honest with you. But this was a competitive girder that I made for myself to use in NU back before girder was like a niche meta pick in NU, I was like, wow, I think Girder is actually like super underrated in NU. I think now it's been power crept out, but like as soon as I like talked about this in like a video, eventually Girder actually had a niche metagame situation for a while where Drain Punch, like Bulk Up, Guts, Flame Orb, Girder with Eviolite, right, was one of the was a really interesting, cool option. So you get yourself a Girder, a niche old Girder comp, not one of the most valuable mons in the box, but it's a fun one, and it's one that like meant a lot to me, and I traded it for myself, but I just can't, I don't use it and stuff. So there you go. Now I don't like to do giveaways where I just think of the number. I just wanted to give away Pokemon really quickly, but I think it's more fair if I generate a number using random.org so the number is written down. I don't just think of one, because technically I could just say, oh, you thought of it, and you know. So I actually agree. We're gonna do a non-rigged, true and real, non-rigged giveaway. So I'm gonna close. I have random.org up, but you guys can't see it. I'm gonna generate a number. Okay, I have the number. The first person in chat to choose the number 1 in 100, the number 1 in 100, the first person to guess it gets a prize. I have to watch chat very closely. No one's guessed it yet. It's rigged still. It's not rigged. Oh my god, chat's so fast though, I will say. Holy fucking shit. Oh my god, the chat is so fast. No one's got it. No one's got it yet. Between 1 and 100. Still no one has gotten it. I believe still no one has gotten it. I'm scrolling. Oh my god, Rumel was really close. Rumel got it. Rumel got it. Rumel got it. Wow, bro. Okay, the number was 92. Okay, that's not what I'm supposed to be. Rumel said 93 and then 92, and then Brewski said 91 and was going to say 92 next. Oh, you don't even see that. There you go. 92. That was, you guys were actually really close. It was like a 91 and a 93 guess. You guys were both like counting. Number was 92. Rumel actually fucking won, dude. Poggies. Congrats. Okay, we're gonna roll between 1 to 57. We'll get your random Pokemon. Dude, both 2 regulars won today. That's pretty like rare. Okay. We're gonna roll, we're gonna generate. Let's see what you get. 32. 10, 20, 30. An Alpha Lapras. An Alpha Lapras. 2 times 31. I think it's just an Alpha Catch Lapras. Nothing crazy, but kind of a cool. It's a few extra, you know, Pokeyen. Come get your prize, Rumel. I'll mail it to you in a sec. It's actually a really interesting question. Someone said, do you believe in shiny luck debt after a string of either bad or good shiny luck? It's actually it sounds like a gambler's fallacy question, but it's a more interesting question than you would, in my opinion. It's actually like kind of complicated. Yes and no. I believe in RNG evening out, and that goes both ways, right? So like, but it has to be long-term data, right? And it doesn't like mean that the next hunt will pragmatically, your odds don't change. Your odds are always 1 out of 30,000, right? But if you have 20 shiny hunts in a row where you're 60,000 plus dry, 20 shunts in a row, your next shunt is still 1 out of 30k, but from a larger like data broad perspective, I understand like it should even out over it. Eventually you should long term get lucky, right? Eventually long term RNG should even out, right? Long term your shiny rate should be at around 1 out of 30k. The more shunts you do, the closer you should be towards that 1 out of 30k rate, right? Whether you're above or below it. That's just like a data. That's just like, you know, the longer, more sample size you have, the closer you're there, right? To me, RNG evens out, but over infinite time, meaning it doesn't even out in our lifetime. Yes, it depends. RNG will never even out in our lifetime, and it's just like a very, I don't know. There's probably some calculation or formula to actually figure out how many shiny hunts it would take to even that, but I have no idea, or like how to get close, right? I have no idea, right? I like to think that if you do like 50 plus shunts, hopefully your RNG evens out to a decent degree being like between the 25 to 35,000 career range, which is probably about what we see. Like my shiny rate over my shunting career is like 1 out of 34k or so, 1 out of 32, 34, somewhere in that range, which is not good, but it's not like, it could be worse, you know? Like I think most people are in that 25 to 35k range over a large period of shunts. over a long enough thing. So you don't really get like shiny like debt. The game never owes you anything, and you're never like increased odds. But over long periods of time, over long stretches of data, hopefully it should even out, right? But it depends on the only way to ever increase that. Just do more shunts, more shunts, more shunts, more shunts is how you dig out of it, I guess. There's some good questions today regarding Shiny Wars. Someone said, like, could you just, like, prep 30,000 eggs and then hatch them during war? You couldn't do that because you can only prep as many eggs as, like, your boxes can hold, which I think you can have, like, 32, someone said in chat, like, 32-ish boxes. So it'd be, like, 32 times 60. So for, like, a Shiny War in Pokemon, you could prep, like, 1,900 eggs, which is a lot of eggs to prep before a war, for sure. But not, you know, you can't just... Someone said, could you pre-hatch eggs so they hatch in, like, 1 minute or less? You can. It's called pre-cooking your eggs for war. I don't even do that because I get so nervous I'm gonna like accidentally hatch it or like hatch a shiny. That's like a full focus. I respect those. A lot of Team Mystery members do that. I respect it. I don't even touch that. Pre-cooking your eggs is like if an egg takes like 5 minutes to hatch in your inventory. Okay, the way eggs work, a lot of people don't know this. The way eggs work in PokeMMO is every like I think it's 45 seconds or a minute and a half. It's a certain time tick. Eggs have to trigger a certain amount of ticks, and a tick triggers like every minute or something like that, right? So let's say the egg needs 5 ticks to hatch. Okay, that's how it works. You would need to have that egg in your party for those 5 ticks. So you would put the egg in your party for 4 minutes and put them back in your PC, and then next time you bring those exact eggs out, it'll only take 1 minute to hatch them. But also, the more complicated thing is that tick is actually at a specific second on the world clock, depending on the last update. So if, like, for example, for a while, like, the PokeMMO egg tick was at 06 seconds, right? Does that make sense? So it was at, like, so right now it's 3:56 p.m. The egg tick would be at 3:56:06. You have to, like, bring up a clock and, like, check or whatever. And you would have to, like... follow along. Now they've made it easier to like egg tick while like doing hordes and doing encounters, but that was like, yeah, that was like a hyper focused level of gameplay of like pre-cooking your eggs prior to a shiny war is intense stuff. That is something the average player wouldn't need to worry about, wouldn't need to know about, you know? Dude, did my game crash again? What is happening today? Fatal render error has occurred. I don't know what's going on. That's so weird. Unfortunate. Unlucky. I was gonna go check the alpha butterfree. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. But weird day. Weird day, boys. But unfortunately, I'm gonna call it there. I was gonna check the butterfree and then end it, but I don't know. Servers are weird today. I don't know. It's my computer. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you hanging out. I had a really fun fucking day. Stream back. First stream since vacation. Very abnormal stream. Just talking and yapping and discussing things. Yeah, thank you for coming for the Toto card. Yo, real. Like the stream if you guys enjoyed it. The stream recap means the world to me. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're playing PokeMMO today or playing a game you enjoy, watching videos you enjoy, taking a little bit of time to yourself, relax, have a good weekend. Like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike if not. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. I upload videos about this game that I love so dearly every single day. I will see you guys later. Have a good one. Peace, Reno. And just have a good time, fellas. Peace, peace, peace. Yo, Patrouski here, and I wanted to thank you personally for watching the video until the very end. I really, really appreciate that. And if your name is on this list, thank you to the moon and back because you allow me to even make these videos by supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.